Every time I look at Blake, not only does he look like a cartoon pencil to me, I was like, Blake is a smug, unhappy little man.
And you talk to people as if they were idiots.
Exactly does. Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Brina.
This is Tasha.
And this is Us on Reality. Today we're going to be talking about Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 9, Wife Me Please. Morgan continues.
I know, right? Morgan has so many of these titles. She's made so many of them.
Oh, Morgan. We will talk about Morgan. I feel like Morgan is having a whole character arc. The men started off in the lounge with Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny how he called Blake 9 lives.
I know, but it's true.
Ever since week 1, I think every time the men have a possible elimination, it's always Blake, and there's only been, I think, maybe 1 or 2 times where he wasn't a possible person to eliminate.
Yeah, it was. And he should have went home every time.
The task for this week was for the men to introduce their love interest to their best friends. But could you imagine if the women, i.e. Morgan, had to meet those guys' exes?
It would be really bad. They did do that though. He did that on a season before.
It would have been ridiculous. Yeah, it would have just been stupid.
Well, actually, they just did it. They just did it like, I want to say maybe last season.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, like the girl was like, oh yeah, we're still sleeping together. They were still, like they had just had sex like right before the process or 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah. It was just like, okay, well.
Why you bring her on here? Why did you bring that one? You know what you've been doing. Why did you bring that one?
I thought that was a good idea.
He didn't. He didn't really want to be on there. He don't really want to find love. That's what that was. So up first, Andre introduced his friend. I forget his friend's name. Introduced his friend to Cynthia and Jeffrey. A few things about this. Andre's outfit for this meeting, I felt like was like too over the top. But as Cynthia kept saying in this episode, he's flashy.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And then like, cause his friend was like, just like chilling. His friend was just like low key, regular outfit for a regular day. Cynthia looked nice, like she was jazzy, but she wasn't like over the top. And the same with Jeffrey, like they both look nice, but like casual nice. It's like, I don't know if Andre knows what casual nice is. I think, or maybe he doesn't care.
Obviously, he does his own thing with that curl and that half bun.
Mm-hmm.
I think that him and Jeffrey have a real, like, genuine, they click type connection. The only reservation I have with him and Jeffrey is her kids. But I think he would be a good, stepfather or father to her children. Mm-hmm. So the friend met Cynthia and Jeffrey. He preferred Cynthia. Mm-hmm. But I did not care for Andre's response to that. I didn't feel like Cynthia's things were rehearsed.
Me either.
She just knows what she wants, and so it's easy for her to articulate that.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, I didn't like that that threw him back.
I thought it was interesting that it threw him off because I was just like, is this not one of the things that you're attracted to her for? Right. Is that she is like knows what she wants and she's not scared to like give that voice. Right. Because just their whole interactions and everything, I keep feeling like Andre is just better suited with Jeffrey. Like they just seem to have a more natural flow. Mm-hmm. And when his friend even said that, because it dawned on me, I was like, oh wow, both of Andre's top 2 are mothers. And I was like, so obviously being a stepfather is not something that he's shying away from. And from what his friend said, it sounds like he's dated women that had kids before. And it sounds like he gets like really close with the kids. And like
Yeah.
that's something that's hard when they break up. So I was like, that part I'm not even concerned. I think that it'll just be like, do they parent the same kind of way? And
Mm-hmm.
like that will be the biggest thing. But like that's an issue with any parents, I think. So yeah, I feel like I was like, I think he'll be just great in that respect. And then when his friend said, I feel like that was like confirmation that he'll be good. But yeah, I thought the same thing with his response about Cynthia. I also think that she does that in her work as well as her personal life because, like she said, she had to be really strong for her girls and like no one else was going to do it. So I think that she's just a woman that knows what she wants and, like you said, knows how to articulate that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's just getting really used to Jeffrey's really like
Maybe.
lazy, drawn out. I mean,
Mhm.
not. I mean, but I'm not saying lazy like in a negative way, but her delivery is a lot slower. She's
Mhm.
speaking. Um, she's not speaking like she's not educated or anything. I'm just saying like her delivery is slower and it's softer.
Mhm.
So maybe he's just more used to that. Whereas when Cynthia gave her, she was like, but, and he was like, that seems, no, it's not. I don't think it's hers. Who is,
Mhm.
mm, was it Tony next introducing?
It was Mark Anthony introducing Jeffrey and Mercedes to his friend Rail,
Okay.
which I loved Jeffrey's outfit on this. Like again, it was even more casual than the one with Andre, but it was also a little bit dressier because of that skirt. And I mean, like
Mm,
Jeffrey is in great shape. She have 3 daughters, young daughters. She
I
is
think
in great shape.
she is. Yeah, she
Yeah.
looks good.
I was like, girl, you better wear that casual t-shirt and skirt. That look cute.
So Mark Anthony is on his date with Jeffrey and Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his friend brought up some really good questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he did a good job like analyzing which relationship would best suit Mark Anthony.
Exactly. But like you said, his friend was like, Mercedes just fits better with what we got going on, like how we move. Like she fits better. And I was like, yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah, that is obvious. I can understand his appeal with Jeffrey,
Oh, yeah.
like 100%, but she's gonna have to move a little bit differently. She's gonna have to move differently. She has her kids. She doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be like hanging out with you. Right now it's the show. She has to
Yeah.
make, but then, real life.
And not even that, like she always has her kids. So
Hmm.
if you guys start to do something serious, it's like Mark Anthony, and he said before he didn't want to date a woman with kids. So I'm like, let's unpack that story.
Yeah.
Why?
Type it.
Because it's not like the dad's around. So like, oh, you can really get to know her more when the kids are with their dad or something. Like you're gonna have to figure out how to get to know her with her kids. And like if that's something that's awkward or like you don't know how to navigate, like you need to figure that out or you need to at least have a conversation.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be like a dad just yet, you know? Maybe
And
he
I
just
get that. Yeah. I think Mercedes is a good match for him. I think for both of them. Like they
hmm
just seem to just like naturally like come
fit.
together,
Hmm.
they just like they seem to just fit.
Yeah.
So, girl. So next up was Lyndon and his friend's name Tron? I think it was
I think so.
Tron that he introduced to Morgan.
Girl, I love his friend. If you can't
Mhm.
see hair in the hair is a red flag for yourself, I'm glad his friend made it as big as a football field.
I'm glad he did too. I'm glad his friend, first of all, I'm happy that Lyndon told his friend that story instead
Yes.
of trying to hide and sugarcoat and make her look amazing. I'm
Hmm.
happy that he told his friend the truth. And then I'm happy that his friend was like, ask Morgan. He's like, I got to ask you about this. I'm back to the same thing with her. Girl, you don't have no shame. What, it's
None.
been 5 years later? Has it been 5 years?
I think so.
5 years later, you still ain't got no shame. And then the friend says, did you catch this? The friend says, what made you think that was an okay thing to do? Did you catch what she said? I Googled it and I
Oh
knew
yeah,
I
and
wouldn't go
she's
to jail.
yes, girl. No, no. So if you had to Google something you was about to do to make sure you're not gonna go to jail, that's not enough for you to think, oh, this is not something.
That's not enough to give you pause to be like, oh, what am I doing?
Girl, just leave.
This is a relationship that you yourself out your own mouth said is not serious. We were casual.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got this mad to where then she said, I wanted to make a grand exit. And he was like, a grand exit? Like, why is it your mindset? And here you are at 38 recounting the story. It's fully still in support of your behavior.
Yeah, multiple times.
Girl, yeah. So Lyndon does not hold back the story from his friend, and his friend is not impressed with Morgan. And she even says, I'm not a crazy woman, I'm a good woman. And I'm just like, if you feel like you have to say that because of a story you just told about your past and then the way someone looks at you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She said, I know what he's doing. He's trying to find out if I'm crazy for real, for real. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he is. He's worried for his friend's life.
And girl, you are crazy for real, for real. Because you still think that's okay. And then the friend said, well, how do we know you're not going to do something like that to my boy Lyndon? Excuse me. And she said, oh, because he's a good guy. He doesn't lie to me. What if he does something that you deem is not good? Right. What if he does something that you think is a lie?
Right. Nair in the hair. Oh, wait. Maybe something else that she can Google to make sure it's not a federal offense.
Yes, like you said, I love that Lyndon's friend was just like, this chick, he said, football size red flag.
Yeah, he was like, it was funny because when Lyndon was like, well, what size red flag? He was like, enough to cover a football field.
That was funny.
I like that. What's the next day?
That was a good friend. Okay. The next date was they did Blake with his friend meeting Sue Ann at the same time with Tony and his friend meeting Marcia and Morgan, which like you shared before, when they stream two like that, there's not enough content to make it worthwhile. Because you see Anthony's was last and it was just Anthony. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make this comment and then we'll talk about Blake introducing his friend to Sue Ann. Okay. When Blake had a female friend, my first reaction was, you don't have no male friends that you are close enough to introduce to another woman? And then I was just like, but I think it's because I don't read Blake well. I feel like he is fishy. And so I just feel like you don't have any male friends because you are
a shyster.
Yeah. And so ain't no man gonna stand up for you. But then Anthony had a female friend and I got a completely different read even before she opened her mouth. I was just like, well, Anthony probably just wants a female that he trusts to give him advice on other females, or excuse me, other women that he wants in his life. And then he said that she was married with kids. And I was like, see, this is a bona fide friend. Whereas I felt like with Blake, that was like his ex or something.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like that's an ex.
Yeah.
She came super done up. Like, I'm going to take him back.
She was like professional done up. Like, she looked like she come from work, but very, very cute, very sleek. What were those contacts? She's gorgeous.
I don't know why we're doing color contacts in 2023, but
people still doing. But I thought she looked beautiful, and yeah, I was just like, this is weird. And even the way he was like interacting with her, like he just always seems so like he just seems weird.
I don't know
like
why
he can't just like relax.
I don't like that we still have to look at him.
Everything about him just seems fake to me. like, oh, that's a good question. I'm glad you thought about it. See, that's why I brought you. Like it just, I don't know. Something about him just doesn't come off genuine.
No, it does not. And part of me is starting to think, maybe this is this man's personality.
Yeah.
But I feel like I trust my inner Tasha so much. I feel like I'm so good at just reading people. Like not necessarily reading people, but just a vibe from the jump.
Yeah.
I don't like you. I'll give it a little chance in my mind, but I'm gonna stay back for a minute.
So, first of all, and maybe I missed it, I didn't know that Sue-Ann was divorced, and I didn't know that she had daughters.
I know this is coming in very late. I did know that she had. I heard her talk about her daughter.
Oh, okay, I missed that then.
Before, but I didn't realize. But it was just recent, like an episode or so ago. I did not know she had multiple daughters. And I did not know that she was divorced. But I did think it was strange that Blake just kept really emphasizing that that was an issue for him when you too are divorced with children. Like she has some big hurdle to jump over and he's like, I don't know how she can do it. You are there as well.
I'm not giving him any excuses, but in the next episode, he said the fact that we are both divorced is going to be something to navigate.
Fine.
Yeah, but he was in this episode, he was harping on the fact a lot that she was divorced. Like, oh, I don't know. And I guess where he was coming from was like, we both have certain expectations, or we both have things that devastated us to the point to we were divorced. Whenever him and Sue-Ann get on the screen, it just feels so fake. Sue-Ann seems totally smitten by him, and it's really sad because it's just like, girl, what do you see? And she just looks like she's just like this little like middle school girl that's just so excited that she sees her little boyfriend across the hall, and it's like she just loses all her mind. Because I don't think she's not an intelligent woman. So I just be like, girl, what's going on?
Yeah, of course she is. I think that just because if Blake never opens his mouth, I could see her infatuation. Yeah. So maybe when he's talking, she's not really listening. She's just she's just looking at how pretty he is. But I tell you, over the time, like, I don't care how pretty you are, when you start to talk, if it's not good, I'm sorry, you're no longer that pretty.
But even that though, because there's some little like face expressions that he makes that to me just look like a cartoon pencil or something, and it's just like off-putting to me. So even if she wasn't listening to him, when he does that, that would like snap me out of my little trance. If I were her, I'd be like, what are you doing?
I wish I was a fast drawer so I could like draw a pencil Blake real quick.
That's what I see.
A pencil Blake, and I see like her as a Disney princess with like those big star eyes, and like you're oblivious to what's going on in the world. The reason why you're so smitten with this pencil.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like Blake and his friend looked like they came straight from work, and I don't know, it was just, the whole interaction was odd. It looked really stiff. I feel like Sue-Ann may have been a little taken aback to walk in there and to see a woman.
Girl, how could she not be? And to walk in there and see a woman that pretty,
that gorgeous. Yeah.
But you know what I'm really hoping about Blake? I'm hoping that it's kind of like what Mercedes said about Blake a few episodes ago. She said, I've always vibed with Blake. She said, I think that people just don't know how to take him. And so maybe she's seeing like he has this personality that's just completely different for people to initially just get. And so I'm hoping that that's the deal, because Sue-Ann seems like a really nice lady. And I would want her to have something that's really nice. She's not dumb by any means. And so I think that she's smart enough to assess her situation, but hopefully that's what it is, that Blake is just odd as hell.
He required a acquired taste. That's what I got from him from the beginning. And I'm going to say this because I don't see me saying it for any reason on the next episode, or maybe I will. But just talking about Blake, when they were at the table having that heated conversation at dinner, Blake was the one that was trying to like redirect, and he was like, "Okay, guys, like calm down, like let's calm down, guys, like bring it together." I mean, he was the one that was trying to like corral it in and not let it get so out of hand. So the one they were showing while they were also showing Blake and Sue was Tony with Morgan and Marcy.
Girl, they could have had I know that maybe they didn't think it was much content there, but I'm sure they could have had their own episode.
Morgan's insane.
She's crazy. Morgan is crazy. It's something like Morgan I don't know. And I feel like it's a little bit more and more coming out with every episode. Like that just solidified. Yeah, she's on a whole nother level. But she just wife me, please.
I love Tony's friend was also a good friend. He also asked some really good questions. He was like, "Oh, that's an intense plan." He's like, how do you plan on making that come into fruition? You know? And she was like, prayer and patience and persistence. And then she's like staring daggers into Tony and she's saying it. And you think vengeance is yours, not the Lord's.
I feel like Marcia was kind of just there.
Well, she was like, I have a 5-year plan.
I just think anybody next to Morgan too, they're going to seem like they're a little bit more chill because she's so not chill. Mm-hmm. Who did your friend choose?
Marcia. So I love their friends. All of their friends read it so well, except for Andre's friend. I was surprised that he said Cynthia for Andre, because I mean, I do love Cynthia. I think she's wonderful. But I just think for Andre, Jeffrey just seems to like be a better match for Andre. So it's interesting that the friend thought Cynthia.
Well, we know why. Because there was a comment that Cynthia made. She said, "I'll protect his emotions." And that was
support you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it supported him. But that was the friend's number one concern. That was the first thing he started off with, was talking about how he gets attached to children and, you know, the relationship is over. So then he's left kind of emotionally wrecked. Whereas it's like, no, that's a deal for me. I'm going to protect him. Who's not going to pick Cynthia for their person? And that broke down T-Pain that fathered her children has lost.
He know he has. That's why he was acting like that on that date.
There's no coming back for you, bro. Calm down.
And she know it too. So that was next. Cynthia met Anthony's friend at his place. And I love this. And then Sue Ann and Mercedes met his friend out at a restaurant. She said to Anthony's friend that her and her ex are the father of her children, that they've known each other since they've been 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I was just like, so he's like ingrained in her. That man ain't going nowhere. She still is like, no, like that door for me and you, that's closed. But like, so when I first saw, like I said, Anthony with his female friend, I wrote, no, Anthony, where are your male friends?
Yeah, I initially thought like, he doesn't have a male friend. But then as soon as she started talking and she seemed so down to earth, and just like you said, when she said, and he said that she was married and had kids. I was like, okay, well, this is who you want because you're looking for her. But in like, you know what I mean? You're looking for a mother to your children. You're looking for a wife. So yes, bring this person in that you trust who's in this role.
When Cynthia was talking with Anthony and his friend, she was more relaxed. Like she still knew what she was going to say. She still had her answers ready, but they weren't so spitfire. They were just like very like casual. I'm in this conversation and I'm comfortable here.
Every date she went on, they chose her.
Of course, because she's wonderful.
And then Sue Ann, well, he hasn't even told me that he likes me. Girl, please stop playing.
She acts like a middle school girl having a crush. So maybe she does need someone to constantly tell her that they like her. And he said in the confessional, I would think she would have known after our last date. He was like, you know, the way that we were interacting and everything. And I'm just like,
anybody would know. You're grown.
No, the thing I remember Mercedes saying on this date is that I feel like Mercedes just keeps saying in a very not completely direct, but also not fully beating around the bush either. She's like, I don't know how it would be as a stepmom.
I'm not
Hear her, Anthony. Hear her and let her go.
Yeah, I think that her and Mark Anthony feel the exact same way. So they should get together and leave these people with the kids alone.
So I feel like Sue Ann just wrote herself off by pretending like she doesn't know what's going on. And Mercedes basically wrote herself out by saying, I'm not ready to be a stepmom.
Out anyway. They were out anyway. Anthony wasn't really checking for them like that.
One thing that I wanted to point out from their date, whenever Sue Ann and Mercedes were at the restaurant with Anthony and his friend, Sue Ann said, Anthony is my second closest connection. Okay, bye, Sue Ann. The episode concluded with the men going back into the lounge with Tommy. And they were talking about the women they wanted to eliminate. And it was unsurprising. First of all, Cynthia's on multiple dates. Clearly, she's not going anywhere. Oh. And then Morgan, obviously, is not going anywhere. So it was between, and neither is Mercedes. So it was between Marcia and Sue Ann, I feel like, unsurprisingly. Marcia got sent home.
Yeah, I was really hoping it was going to be Sue Ann, though.
Yeah, because I'm can't wait for them to get rid of Sue Ann so then Blake can go away.
Like, what is the point? You guys have found what you need to find. You're not going to find nothing else from here. So get on. I remember Marcia saying,
Mark Anthony's here. We don't have a love interest.
Yeah, we don't. So what is this? I know the amendment today. I'm a little nervous.
I think it's interesting that I don't know, it's almost like when they come to those elimination dates that they don't know who's going to be there. Like some of the stuff that they've said has led me to believe that. Have you gotten that vibe?
No, I think they know who they're meeting. I'm thinking like if Sue Ann was up for elimination, why wouldn't they send Blake? She's the only person that he's connecting. Yeah, that he's connecting with. So why not send him to have a conversation with her about what the other people are saying? It doesn't really matter what anyone else has to say. He's her only connection pretty much. But I guess she was supposed to be having a connection with Anthony that no one can see. And so that's why he was there. But I was very excited when Tommy announced that their next, I guess, get together was going to be so excited because I love when they do this little vacation. Yeah, because you just kind of get all the personalities together in one area, and it's always super entertaining for me.
Yeah, it makes me think like, what would this have been like if they would have been all together, like other dating shows that you see when everyone's in one space? Like, what would that have looked like if all these people with alcohol would have been in one place for this whole time? I think there would have been a lot of fights. I think that next week we'll get to see everybody at their vacation spot, and we'll get to see how all of these different energies and attitudes and personalities and whatever unfolds. Yeah. So we just want to say thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
See ya.